Yeah, well, disappointed with the result of the game and certainly the finish of it. So we had our opportunities as the game went on, not to be in that position. We're still hopefully with a chance at the end of the game to be able to go score and put a drive together that could win it. We didn't get that opportunity. And it comes down to, little things in the game and not putting ourselves in that position. But, we did something. I thought we played hard. In any game, it comes down to execution. It comes down to putting our guys in the best position to be successful. And we didn't do that enough tonight in order for us to win the game. So, we got to go back and we got to look at things that we can do better and really focus on the things that have come up this season in our training and our preparation, certainly from this game, and then make that, again, a point of emphasis that we have got to find a way to have that show up in games and play 4 quarters. That was the mindset coming into this game, was going to be a 4-quarter game on the road against a good team. And we just didn't have enough opportunities there at the end to finish out the 4 quarters of football like we wanted to. So questions.
First question is from Michael Gittens.
Coach, how do you assess TJ Finley's first start here? Looks like there were some opportunities out there, but Kobe Hudson was out tonight. How do you assess TJ's play and how much did missing Kobe Hudson affect you guys tonight?
Yeah, that's hard to tell in a game. Obviously when you have guys that have played for you, you miss them. But what does that actually look like? You never know because they're not part of the game plan. And certainly not part of the game. And then TJ, I thought he was solid tonight. I'm going to watch the tape. I'm going to really look at what opportunities he had and what he didn't. First glance, he did some good things. I thought he led in the sideline and we had opportunities. He ran the ball a couple times and had some positive yards for us. But at the same time, there's always going to be mistakes in the game. So I'm going to, before I make any decision on his play, I'm going to look at the film and make sure that we know what happened around him. Did we put him in the best position as a staff? And, how did he go out there and operate? This was a chance for him to be in the game and start the game. And I know he worked hard leading into it, and we didn't get the result that we wanted.
Justin Hokanson.
Hey, Bryan. What was the explanation on the muff punt? Obviously a really close call that was overturned. I mean, what was said to you on why that was
I don't know. I mean, it's that he touched it. That's really what it comes down to. Didn't see that on the field. I think we've all had plays where balls have hit one of our players or another team, and you see the trajectory of the ball change and all that. Didn't call it on the field. So that was a turn. They turned it over and decided that it touched him somewhere. And, again, that's in the game. They made that decision. You can argue all you want. I mean, that's the decision they made in there. It didn't look like it on the field, but at the end of the day, it didn't go in our favor.
Jordan Hill.
Bryan, I wanted to ask you about the 4th down call for you guys right before halftime, going for it on y'all's 35. Just sort of what was the decision, not only to go for it, but on that play call?
Well, you saw that we took a shot on that, being aggressive and trying to extend that drive. We could run it, and we had the shot right there. So we took it. That was part of being in that situation, maybe not in particularly that yard line right there, but that play or, trying to take a shot on 4th down. And, you're on the road and you want to give yourself a chance, hopefully hitting a big play. And we felt like we needed to hit some explosive plays in this game. And felt like in practice, that play was a good play for us. And we thought, that was a good opportunity there to be aggressive and take that shot opportunity.
Mark Murphy.
Yeah, can you talk about Tank's night? He was 22 for 164, but you didn't get the ball to him on your last possession. And on the 4th and 1, you didn't have him on the field on the 35-yard line. That reasoning for that. seems like he'd be a good guy to fake it to on that play if you're going to throw it.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Certainly thought through that as well. So like I said, I explained the play and it didn't go our way. You know, if we hit that for a touchdown, then it's a great play. I mean, that's how it works. You take some opportunities in games, doesn't go your way, you're going to be obviously questioned for it. It goes your way. It's a great play. So all those other factors, I mean, I think you're making a comment more than anything. But that's how it turned out. So he had a good night, ran hard. Thought he did some good things. Thought the O-line did some good things. And, you know, we obviously didn't do enough.
Tom Green.
Hey, Bryan, you talked about your fourth down play, but the drive before when they scored the touchdown on the 4th and 3, just what did you see on that play from your perspective?
Yeah, the one he rolled out, kind of got flushed out. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, if it's one I'm thinking about, he got flushed to his left and made a good throw. We got outflanked with the wide receiver. He made a good throw. You know, we had one of our guys on him, and you know, we weren't in position. He threw the ball where his guy could get it, and we were out of position to try to stop the play. So, bottom line is, without reviewing it, you get a little pressure on him. You flushed him. Hopefully, you can get him back there for a sack and not allow him to escape. And you know, they just had some things where they got in the perimeter. They were able to bounce a few runs. They got out of contain, and that was one of them right there.
Jason Caldwell.
Bryan, you guys had 191 yards rushing, no turnovers. When you look up, you're surprised to look up and see 17 points with those kind of stats tonight?
I'm always surprised to see 17 points with what we're trying to get done on offense. So, yeah, rushing, throwing, and all that, 17 points, you know, just doesn't cut it. You know, you got to score points. You got to hopefully put your team in a position where, you know, you make it more challenging for the other offense. And, you know, so regardless of our rushing or throwing, I mean, 17 points is not what we're trying to get done.
Nathan King.
Hey, Bryan, Shane Beamer said after the game that they were running, he felt like the same 2 plays on offense in the second half. Just what was it that they were doing effectively as they were kind of on that scoring run against y'all's defense?
He said they were running the same 2 plays?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think just, you know, they ran inside zone, ran it hard. I know that was one of the 2 plays. And, you know, they were able to get some yards on it. I mean, I thought we slowed that down. I mean, we got them in a position where we used our timeouts. They threw it, had an incomplete pass, so it actually saved us, you know, quite a bit of time. It gave us a much better situation than what we could have had if they hadn't, you know, thrown it. So I thought that was in our favor, and they dropped the ball. And so we got an incomplete pass, and we had a chance to get the ball back on a return. And that's where the ball hit one of our players supposedly, and we didn't get it back. So I don't know what 2 plays exactly, but I know they're running inside, and, you know, they were getting some yards on it, and then they were trying to run inside. I don't know if this is considered the second play, but then they were bouncing outside because, you know, their guys were doing a good job of just getting outside of contain on a couple of runs.
Tobias Wilborn.
Obviously, Bryan, I know you guys want to go 1-0 every week, as you always say, but this is now the second week in a row where you guys have lost double-digit leads. How do you kind of get it back together going into next week against Alabama?
Well, I mean, you get it back together by how you prepare yourself really every day. I mean, you want to go out there and finish. Every little rep you take in practice and everything that you do, you prepare for the situations that we're in. You know, there's answers for what happened to us tonight, whether we did them or not, or we put our guys in that position to do it. That's what we have to go back and assess. So it really just comes back to everything that you do leading into the game, and, you know, even some of those routine things that you do week in and week out, because, you know, it's just a matter of time before something like that's going to show up. And, you know, there's got to be a total commitment to it. There's got to be a commitment to the things that you do week in and week out, just knowing that maybe it hasn't happened at this point. But there's certainly an opportunity for it to happen. And when it does, that you're going to be ready for it. So I just think right now for this football team, we've got to do a much better job of that. And we got to put our guys in a better position to be successful as coaches. And, right now we're not doing it. I mean, we're not finishing games. We're not extending or putting ourselves in drives where we need points and being able to extend those drives in third down situations. So, we gotta be a lot more clutch in those situations than we have been. And that's what it comes down to. And at the end of the game, we got to be clutch in those tight situations like that. You prepare for it, but at the end of the day, it comes back to, how we focus on that, how committed we are to doing those things week in and week out. And then as far as coaches putting our guys in a position to be successful by what we emphasize and then the things that we that we talk about week to week, we've got to show up in the games, and that's on me. I've got to help this football team be more consistent with those, stay more focused on those, have the intensity and the discipline to make sure that those things that we do week in and week out and the things that we emphasize as a staff, they get done. That's what it comes down to. So it takes everybody to do that. And as the head coach, I got to make sure that everybody does that. And then it's ultimately got to happen in the game when, you have opportunities to go out there and execute, whatever it is that we've worked on that week, but execute it in the games.
Got two more, Brian Matthews and Bill Cameron.
Yes, Brian, I know in the last few games, y'all have struggled offensively in the second half. I think you had 56 yards in the fourth quarter tonight. Anything that you've seen that you picked up here over the last couple of weeks that's happening in the second half of games for you guys offensively?
Yeah, we're not, I've used the word finish. It's a combination of execution. It's a combination of putting our guys in the best position. You got to be clutch. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You gotta be clutch in those situations. You got to be able to make plays when you need to and do it properly. We've got to be able to put them in the best position and give them a chance to go make plays and to be successful moving the ball down the field. And so it's a combination of all those things is what it is. And, that's what I got to make sure that we get corrected is, we've got to be much more disciplined, detailed, and consistent than what we've been. And that's the bottom line. And from an offensive standpoint, every time you get on the field, you want to score points. We're not doing that. So, we've evaluated that. We've tried to make those corrections. We've tried to emphasize things that we feel are important, but they're not getting done in the game. And that's the reality of it. It's just not getting done. And, again, I'll put that on myself to make sure that those things happen and we do a better job. And, we get ourselves in a position where we can be a lot more clutch in those situations where we can make those plays and execute them and be a much better football team, because you got to finish. To win games, it doesn't matter. You got to finish. And, that's always been something that is important, certainly in the programs I've been a part of, and no different here. But we're not getting it done. That's the bottom line. We're not getting it done. So that's on me to make sure that we get that corrected and we get it done. And those things happen when we step back on the field and play. That's the bottom line.
Bill?
Coach, there were quite a few times where they were able to break containment on the outside. Was it something specific they were doing, or were they just taking advantage of the aggressiveness and just lack of execution?
Yeah, it's probably that. I mean, it's really, we have guys in position to keep contained. I do feel like we made the emphasis of their backs being guys that can really change direction quickly, which they showed that. But on the defensive side, every defense in America has contained, and you really don't want to allow things or players to bounce outside. And, so that's something that we got to get corrected. They did a good job. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're going in to make the play and the guy puts his foot in the ground, stops, and is able to make you miss. Those things happen. And then you've got someone hopefully behind you that's there to help you with the tackle, and you got to get multiple players to the ball. Now I didn't see it. I saw it on the field. You just see what happened. So I don't know the exact detail of what happened, but we got to keep contained. We got to keep them inside when it's an inside play, and then let those guys, D linemen, linebackers, do their job inside and make the tackles, and then keep contained on the perimeter.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.